Hey, I'm out here in the park. It's been kind of yesterday was really a rainy day, and today is kind of cool and cloudy and everything. So, a friend on Facebook asked, I don't know if he was being facetious or not, but he asked if I could do a video on spears, and I thought, sure. And so the knife I've chosen to use today is the Haltepers knife. It is kind of a Mora-ish knife, and anybody who knows Moras will know that they're a high value knife because they are really good knives at a very low price. So they're good all around knives, but especially with the Scandinavian grind, which is this grind right here, they are really good for cutting, slicing through wood. And with the drop point, which is what this is, I mean, it's good. It increases its value in terms of, different applications. So it's a plastic sheath, and I put this leather on it. I glue leather on a lot of my Moras and stuff because then I also have a something to kind of strop my blade with, which typically is all you're going to need for normal everyday use. So it does have a clip that goes on your belt. It's also got a little thing here you can put a string or something on there to hold it. It's got a drainage hole and a plastic handle. And this is a carbon steel knife, so it is susceptible to rust. You do have to keep it clean and dry. Okay, that's the knife I used. Now, this is a homemade spear. This was a piece of wood that I just had sitting around. I'd already skinned it, so to save time, I just went ahead and did some, basic stuff with it. I chamfered the edge here to eliminate checking and whatnot. Again, this has been setting for a while, and I'll explain checking in a moment. This has been drying for I think it's been about 90 days, about 3 months. So, as a piece of wood dries, if it dries unevenly, which many woods will, it'll crack. And but I'm going to tell you the truth. With a spear like this, if you're in the woods for any amount of time or survival situation, and you're making yourself a spear, it's not going to last very long anyway. You're going to make it's a temporary thing. So you might, if you know you're going to be there a while, you might want to go ahead and cut like half a dozen branches and kind of keep them in different stages of development so that you have them to pull from. If you were going to go out and, you don't typically want to throw your spear because if you do, one, you better hit what you're aiming at, or it's just total complete waste. Excuse me. And two, if you do hit what you're aiming at, you don't want to lose your spear and lose the varmint by them running off. So, this is a spear is mostly for thrusting and self-defense. It makes you feel like you're more, you're safer. Makes you feel like you're safer. I like to be safe. Be safe. Okay? Be safe. I want you to be safe. I want you to feel safe. Make yourself a spear. So get yourself a spear. Get yourself a good stick. First thing you want to do in most cases is to take the bark off. That eliminates slipping and rotting and all that kind of stuff. If it gets wet, water gets in between there and starts to rot out on you. And again, you're probably not going to keep it very long anyway, but the longer the better. Good hardwood is the best choice, like hickory, oak, something like that. But you use what you use, right? So one thing, if you have a soft branch, you can tell by looking in here. And I'll use my Haltepers here as a pointer. You see that little center right there? Well, if you have a different colored center in there, that is your pith. Also sometimes called the heartwood. But in softwoods, the pith is going to be very soft. It's going to be the softest part of your branch. And this part around here is going to be harder. So if you're making a point out of a soft wood like a spear, you want that point to actually be to the side more and not speared off into the center, because if you do that, then what you hope to be the hardest point of your spear is really going to be the softest point of your spear. So, you don't want the pith to be at the center. Now, if it's a hardwood, again, these things are probably going to break, and you know, you do what you do. So, all right, now we don't care about sanding these, but if you wanted to sand them, you can find a sandstone. A lot of times by rivers or lakes or just out and about, and it's a sandy, porous stone. You can use that stone to sand. You can see I've made a point here, and I've made these for decoration, but they would also aggravate the wound if you pulled this out. They would rip on the wood. You wouldn't have to have those by any means. I just added them. So one thing you can do to help stop these from, say you find a really good spear and you just love it and you don't want it to crack, you can wind bank line or string or something around it, and that'll help keep it together. You can also harden your spear, and the way you harden a spear, fire harden, take your tip and put it in a fire and or really high heat. And what that heat will do is it causes the wood cells to contract, and it makes the wood denser, so it makes it a lot harder. And that would, of course, keep your point longer. So I hope this helps, but I want to show you something else as well. This is this was a gift from my son. It is a SOG Spirit, and I got this more than a few years ago. It's got a snap on it. This actually did not come with the stick. The stick was purchased at Lowe's, and it came with this little screw tip on the end of it, and then this screws in around that. And I put it on with tape, or I'd just take it off for you, but I put it on with rubber tape so that it would be a more permanent, stronger fix. So there's rubber tape around the threads, and then I screwed this onto it. And you can see this is very sharp. This is kind of a soft wood, which is what I like. I would like a softer wood because then you can sharpen it easier. If it was a very hard steel, it would be more difficult to sharpen. So you have a softer steel here, easy to sharpen and to get razor sharp. And you screw this on, and again, this stick is an oak stick. It's like an extension for painting and brooms and things like that. I think it was, I don't know, it was between $4 and $8, I think. And then I went ahead and added, just some other little things, just to dress it up, I guess. And that is a rubber cane tip that I put on it as well. So you could use this, definitely use this as a walking stick, but you would not want to use it without being in its sheath, because it would just be way too dangerous. So you can put that sheath back on and snap it or not snap it. I put this on here just to hang it up. But you can get on the internet and you can find all kinds of spears, ready-made, 1-piece, 2-piece, 3-piece. I don't know how many pieces, but you can find them on Amazon. And a place called Cold Steel has a lot of them. Type in Cold Steel, and there's just a lot you can find. But making your own spear is a lot of fun. A lot of people sit around fire and they make spoons and stuff. Why not make a spear? I mean, they're fun. You could stick them in the ground, and like. Now, I just want to end this on a completely different note, but I cut my own hair today. I think successfully for the first time. I have cut it before by myself, but not successfully. I think I pulled it off today. I'm hoping. I'll probably have to do it more often, but we will see. I like that because it saves me money. I like saving money. So that is my video on the Halteford knife and my spear. That is on the spear and the Halteford knife.